likely I will sell all my crypto. I want to have a time limit in order for me to exit the market.
You don't think we're heading towards another crypto winter at all?
No. I think Bitcoin will be over 250,000 by the end of this year or next year.
What's going to drive that?
A bit more of an important video for you today, my friends, especially for those of you who are into cryptocurrency, because crypto is slowly starting to spiral. The signs are there, and I feel like most people are not seeing them. And by the time they may realize, it could be too late, which is why I'm making this video, to make sure you stay on track, my friend. Very quickly, my friends, before we get started, this video is specifically designed for ambitious men interested in long-term investing and crypto. But if you are curious, feel free to keep watching, of course, my friends. Those of you who are new here, my name is Vic. I'm a registered nurse and certified life coach turned personal finance strategist. And I help ambitious men take control of their money and build long-term wealth through smarter money habits, long-term investing, and crypto. I'm not a financial or investment advisor, so this isn't a financial or investment advice. I'm just sharing my own opinions and what's worked and is working for me personally, because this is my passion. And it's all purely for educational purposes only. Now, my friends, let's not wait any longer. Let's get straight into the video. Please subscribe and share.
Likely I will sell all my crypto. I want to have a time limit in order for me to exit the market. Typically, after the Bitcoin halving happens, we usually have about 1 year to 1.5 years of bull market, of really euphoric uptrend in crypto. That's my second exit condition, which is that 1.5 years after the 2024 Bitcoin halving, I will exit the market no matter what, even if Bitcoin doesn't hit 200K. What does that look like on the time frame, right? So if we can draw this out, 550 days from counting from April 2024. So that gives us October 13th, 2025.
My friends, we're on CoinMarketCap, and finally I can show you how much of a god I am at crypto, and I can predict the markets and just make unlimited amounts of money. Obviously, my friends, I'm joking, and no one can predict the markets. If anyone says this, please, they're absolutely BSing. But what I can tell you, my friends, is that these are the 3 indicators that I genuinely do use, that I find the most helpful, and they historically have seemed to do pretty well in regards to predicting the Bitcoin top, etc. And obviously, as we know, Bitcoin, for those of you who are new or are not sure, Bitcoin is the leading digital reserve, which actually influences the other macro caps and micro caps, basically the whole crypto space underneath Bitcoin. So this includes Ethereum, this includes all the other micro caps under Ethereum, just everything in the whole crypto market. So if Bitcoin's not doing well, the other coins will not be doing well either. So let me try not over explain, as I'm very good at this. I'm trying to work on it. So in Bitcoin's second halving, it was actually in July 2016. So one of the first indicators is basically 12. I prefer to work in months. This guy that's actually in this video prefers to work in days, but actually the amount of time is basically exactly the same between the 12 to 18 month range. I just prefer months because it's just easier for me. I like to be a bit lazy. So 12 to 18 months every single time, for whatever reason, that is basically, and this is after the halvings, that is basically where Bitcoin tends to outperform and do its top. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. So on July 2016, a year would be 2017's July, and around December 2017, January 2018, that would be the 12 to 18 month mark. And as you can see, what do we have here? Bam, that's where I actually came up for the top, 20th of December 2017. So it's within that period. Same thing with the third halving, 11th of May 2020, and again 12 to 18 months after that would be around about 11th of May or May-ish time 2021 to round about December 2021. And again, this third halving, after the third halving, had a double top. Actually, the first time it topped was actually in April, so it's a tiny bit earlier than May, but it's roundabout. And the second time it topped out, the bigger top, was actually in, again, November. You guessed it, within the 12 to 18 month range. There's many political reasons, and there's many other reasons which I'm not going to get to because we don't really care about that. Let's be honest. You just care about knowing why. You just care about knowing what ranges to look out for. So let's be honest, we're not going to explain too much into detail. Bitcoin now did a pretty big, unprecedented move here, but that was because of the Bitcoin ETF. Technically, that move shouldn't have actually happened, but it is what it is. Now we're going back up just because from crypto Twitter, many people from the looks of things, including Donald Trump and BlackRock, etc., have influenced the markets into primary markets, bought absolutely shitloads of crypto, especially Bitcoin and especially Ethereum. And now the moves are actually influencing the secondary markets like CoinMarketCap here, which is where we're actually seeing the price and where the price will be influenced even more. So it's very important that we're not exit liquidity, my friends, which is again why you need to listen right now to understand what's actually happening, so you know when to exit. And again, this is my own strategy. I'm not saying you need to use this. I'm just saying this is what's worked for me. Finally, April 2024, we got it right here. Following the 12 to 18 month rule, we're expecting now April 2025 and October, November 2025 this year. Some people say it could go early 2026. Maybe, who knows? We don't know. No one can predict the crypto space. So we have to see. Now, here we go, my friends. We've got the Bitcoin rainbow chart. If you have not seen this, this is very effective, in my opinion. Again, let me just because of the fact that every single time, this is one I personally use, you could see Bitcoin's always seems to have topped out at the red. Only recently, though, it's actually topped out in the one that's been a bit lighter red. Therefore, obviously, as Bitcoin grows, we're going to see diminishing returns just because here it was a significantly lower price. So it makes sense to have pumped harder because it's easier to multiply $5 into $10 at a multiple of 2 compared to a $1 trillion market cap to 2 trillion. Even though that's still a 2x, it's obviously the first one, $5 to $10 is a lot easier than 1 trillion to 2 trillion, obviously. So you're going to see diminishing returns as the actual market cap of Bitcoin increases, of course. But that doesn't mean that Bitcoin will not perform well, because if any of you know, in my opinion at least, where I'm investing is actually in the micro cap coins under the Ethereum ecosystem, most of them anyway. There's some in the Solana ecosystem as well, but it depends. This is not the video for this one right now. If you've got any questions, just message in the comments. If you want me to make another video about it, just let me know and I could specifically dedicate it just to that. I'll try briefly touch on it later on in this video, so make sure you stay around to watch that. So here, if we go to the rule between 12 to 18 months, like I mentioned just now, that means we're technically, I personally believe, seeing as the last one came almost to the orange line, to be a bit conservative and to be a slightly bit of a pussy play. Well, I'll probably, for me personally, I'm going to assume, and my hypothesis will be, because I think hypothesis in crypto is very important, my hypothesis will be that Bitcoin will probably reach around about $180,000, $150,000 at least. When that happens, I'm seriously going to be considering taking out as much money as I possibly can in crypto, maybe leave around 10% of my portfolio just to degenerately play around with and maybe go around in some meme coins and just whatever stupid stuff I could see, but that depends on the situation, of course. I'm going to be a sensible boy and make sure to exit this market with as much profit as I possibly can, of course, as I recommend you do too. One, you could just see the prices roughly. Following the 12 to 18 month rule, you could see roughly what Bitcoin is meant to be, and therefore you could link your own hypothesis to that. If you want to be a bit less conservative and maybe go towards the like less orange line or whatever, I don't know. It's more to form a hypothesis of yourself of where you think Bitcoin's going to go, to have a price in your head of Bitcoin where it should go, because that will dictate how all the other coins will do under it. Basically the whole crypto space, which is why this chart is so important. And now, my friends, going finally to the MVRV Z-score. Oh, what's this, you ask? Well, let me show you. So I'm just going to highlight it just so you could read it as well, my friends. Come on. So the MVRV Z-score is a Bitcoin chart that uses blockchain analysis to identify periods where Bitcoin is extremely over or undervalued relative to its fair value. So that's where you see obviously this green marker here, this green region here, and this red region here. This red obviously signals overvaluation, this one signals undervaluation, which is where you buy, this way you would sell. Now, as you can see in the last chart, because of diminishing returns, like I have mentioned, it's probably not going to hit the red line this time. However, for me, in my own opinion, I'm being conservative because, again, I want to make sure I leave this market with profit. I am expecting the MVR. I'm going to be thinking about selling most of my crypto when the MVRV Z-score is round about 4 to 5. That is where I'm going to be seriously considering it. And it's definitely, if it touches this red zone, I'll probably sell basically everything. But seeing the market in 2021, I don't think it will do that. So I'm definitely going to be looking at around the 4 to 5 region because I'm expecting it to probably hit there. But this is, again, my hypothesis, my friends. I'm not saying this will happen. This is just my educated guess. No one can predict what the hell will happen. So again, these are all the tools for you, my friends, just to utilize to form your own hypothesis.
You don't think we're heading towards another crypto winter at all?
No. I think Bitcoin will be over 250,000 by the end of this year or next next year.
What's going to drive that, you think?
What'll happen is that the tariff stuff will be a dud, and that people will realize that the world is willing to negotiate, and it's really just U.S. versus China, and a lot of people will side with us, some people will side with China. The markets will stabilize a little bit, and they'll get used to the new normal, and then the Fed will lower interest rates, and then you'll have a lot of fast, cheap money, and then it'll pour into crypto because it'll get reignited by the market structure bill and the Magnificent Seven entering in the stablecoin bill. So it'll stall for probably the next 3 to 5 months, and then you'll have a huge wave of speculative interest come probably August or September into the markets, and that'll carry through for probably another 6 to 12 months.
As you can see, my friends, no one, no professional, no specialist can actually predict crypto. But my friends, there is a dynamic that I want to show you now very quickly, which will help you to understand how crypto moves from Bitcoin all the way down to microcaps. My friends, I would say that this is probably the most important part of the video. So make sure that you listen very closely, because I'm going to show you right now, very briefly and very simply explained as I possibly can, how crypto dynamics work, how basically money flows down into the microcaps, basically how the movements work. And Alex Becker very nicely explains this whole setup very, very well in his strategy, and I 100% think it is the way that things actually move, because basically big money from big institutions actually flow in first, and then they buy the higher microcaps like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then the money flows down because other bigger institutional buyers actually come into play, big businesses, and they buy crypto. And under this, my friend, I would say probably the most important coin, in my opinion, the most important project is Ethereum. Why is it Ethereum? So, reason I believe is Ethereum is because most of the coins, whether it's in AI, gaming, real world assets, whatever it is, most of the good coins are under the ecosystem of Ethereum. Therefore, the way for them to do well, that means Ethereum needs to do well. Again, the same way Alex Becker explains it, if you imagine a wave, you've got a big wave, this is a big wave like this is Bitcoin. This wave triggers the next wave, which is Ethereum. And then this wave triggers the next wave, which is all the coins under the Ethereum ecosystem, right? It's basically the same thing. And with Bitcoin also it triggers Solana, and then Solana triggers all the coins under the Solana ecosystem, which is most of them are meme coins, but you get what I mean. That's basically the same thing, which is why, for me personally, basically all of my investments have been in coins under the Ethereum ecosystem. Therefore, my hypothesis is that if Ethereum doesn't do well, it doesn't break its all-time high and go a bit further up, then that basically means that's the end. That's the end of the bull run for me. Again, this is the hypothesis, and every single time the same thing happens, as you can see here. A month after Bitcoin hit its all-time high from the other chart, look at this, straight away a month after Ethereum hits all-time high. Normally, Ethereum tends to be a month to 2 months after Bitcoin hits its all-time high. Thing is, we don't know when Bitcoin will hit its all-time high, of course. But what it does mean is that every time Bitcoin does really well, a month or two after that, Ethereum will do really well and follow the path of that. And afterwards, the Ethereum coins under the Ethereum ecosystem will do substantially better because the market caps of them are significantly smaller. So that's basically the reason. That's basically the simple strategy. But of course, if you want me to talk more about it in another video, I can. If you're interested in this stuff whatsoever, my friend, I am building a premium community for cryptocurrency and long-term investing that's specifically for ambitious men. So definitely check it out and have a look. That is still under development, but the other community that I personally do have that's in the link down below, you can actually access that right now. And there's a 7-day free trial, so it's completely zero risk to you. Recently, as you can see, Ethereum's had a massive downfall. This is because the investing sentiment was significantly bad. Why was it bad? Because Bitcoin was doing bad. You don't believe me? Have a look. The same thing happened. So if you look at the all-time high of Bitcoin, as you can see, it went massively down. Therefore, investing sentiment of the crypto space in general, because Bitcoin is the leading digital reserve currency for all of the crypto space in general, that's why Ethereum did bad as well. And therefore, that's why all the other coins under Ethereum did badly too. But it's going up right now. And the reason I personally believe, this is my own personal belief, the reason it's gone down like this is because, especially with Trump coming into power, everyone thought that all the crypto will go skyrocket up. However, maybe President Trump had a say, maybe someone else did something, I don't know, but it's very suspicious that Ethereum went down this much, literally from 4,000 to 2,000. That is a crazy drop. That's over 50% for one of the biggest coins. And I feel the reason that that happened is so these massive institutions and Donald Trump, etc., can buy this massive dip to fill in their pockets because they know the crypto space is so damn powerful. And a safer bet is Ethereum compared to the lower microcap coins, which is where me and you can benefit from these bigger institutions and big money. Because if you have a look at this picture, BlackRock, literally the world's biggest asset manager, has just purchased 18.9 million Ethereum recently on around May 10th or May 11th. And overall, in their digital liquidity fund, you can see that they own over $2.3 billion worth of Ethereum. Now, if they didn't believe in Ethereum, why would they own so much? Why would they buy so much recently? And the reason they bought so much, again, is because the price dropped. I really do feel these markets are low-key rigged because you can technically, big money does buy a lot of crypto in the primary markets and in ICOs as well. They're basically completely determined by the big players and, as you guys know, the whales. And because they influence the price, they get to control the market, they get to buy as much as they want, but they can't sustain this price for too long, and eventually it goes to secondary markets. And this is where extra liquidity comes in, like me and you. And then later on, this big money will use us as exit liquidity because the price will go up. People will be like, oh, it's doing really, really well. And eventually they will exit because they've already entered their bags at the lowest amounts possible and they've predetermined them themselves at a very good price. This is my theory though. Who the hell knows what happens, right? I have no idea, but that's the logic that I'm going to go with because that makes the most sense to me. This is not a fair system. If you want a fair system, I don't know, just don't go into crypto, whatever you do. This is not a fair system. You have to either understand how it works and be okay with it, or just don't do it. And you can't exactly call it scamulous behavior because people still want to go in to make a lot of money, but you have to understand how it works. And I think most people don't actually care, which is why they lose a lot of money. And I don't want that to be you. But this is personally what's worked for me. So I hope that makes sense to you, my friend. Basically, again, just for me, I am personally waiting for Ethereum to, I'll go back. I'm personally waiting for Ethereum to go back to its all-time high and go past it. The biggest all-time high it's ever had was $4,666. I'm wanting Ethereum to be, my hypothesis that I've set in my head is Ethereum to be $4,500 to round about $5,000 at least. And then after that, all the other coins that I've invested in should substantially go up as well. And then after that, depending on all the other indicators I showed you earlier on in the video, will depend how much I sell or if I completely sell all my positions. Because at that point, there'll be significant amounts of FOMO. Coins will be doing super well. You'll be seeing massive 200, 300, 500% increases. And you'll be like, oh, let's go in, let's go in. And whatever you buy at that point, when it's alt season, all the coins go up. I'm speaking from experience. Even if everything is up and you buy in, coins will still go up and then you'll be like, ah, this is easy money. Wait a few months, my friend, and you'll get absolutely fucked over. Trust me. This is exactly the whole point because people are using this as exit liquidity. This is why the players that actually hold crypto from even like a year and a half ago, they're going to be the ones that win, and use people that are new money and coming into the markets now and using big institutional investors and big money to inflate the price up and then use that new money that's coming in from the new crypto noobs that are unaware of what's happening and they see their money rise, they think it's a good thing, and they're just like, oh, okay, this is good, leave their money in for it to grow more, and then all of a sudden, bam, next day goes and then it's completely crashed 90%. This is the whole point, my friend. This is just how crypto works. This is not a good or a bad thing, this just is. It's not something you can be mad at. Learn how to play the game. And as you know the saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. And this is the game. My friend, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover with you. Have a look at my really affordable online community, my friend, if you're actually at all interested. I spend a lot of time building it, making it as simple as I possibly can for you, and I do genuinely think I've made a very good space for men to be held accountable with the $5 a day investing challenge. Plus there's a free $157 free course that you'll get absolutely for free that I've personally made for you, so you benefit with smarter money habits, plus monthly Q&As, and there's even an affiliate program with 40% commissions, so you are earning while you're learning as well, my friend. Right now I am looking for the first 100 ambitious men to join it and help me shape it from the ground up. You get a 7-day completely free trial, there's zero risk for you, and after that it's literally 7 times cheaper than a Netflix subscription and 4 times cheaper than your regular daily coffee, because I really tried to make it as affordable as I possibly could, so it's extremely accessible. If you're even slightly a bit curious, my friend, have a look at the link below. I appreciate your time. YouTube thinks you'll like either one of these 2 videos next, and I'll see you in the next video, my friend.